All right, give you guys a quick little update of what we got going on. Well, today is Thursday, and I'm getting my days mixed up, but here's Thursday. We're kind of day 4. We had to stop a little bit on this, and since the freeze is coming, we had to help my wife get some of the garden stuff taken care of before it comes, because she's kind of busy. This is Matthew picked yesterday. Open the door. These here, I still don't know the name of these, but as you can see, they're all over the place. They turn into loofahs. You let them dry out like this, and then you peel off the skin, and underneath it is the loofah, and then you got the seeds inside that you can go ahead and plant some more. So if you want to make loofahs, she'll be selling the seeds and stuff, and the loofahs itself. So we did that and a couple other things, and you know, I take my time through all this because I want things to be a certain way. I don't want to have to worry about any more issues down the road. So I had to reroute my thermostat wire, try to keep this area open, because whether we get to it today or tomorrow, I still got to run my vent pipe through the roof, put my ceiling in, and I'm going to be doing that in sections, and we'll be putting my low combustion in. We went ahead and got the gas line in. We'll get the duct moved out of the way so we can make our connections, and do the same thing. We'll make our connections here, and then we've got some fittings that we're putting together so we can go ahead and just button up the end of the main run that comes up from outside where we have to cut, and then, you know, continue on with the new stuff, the new insulation, as well as the water heater that's up there. So we ran the line. We'll show you, we'll give you an update here in a minute. We had to run the line outside into the closet. That's not built yet, but give myself enough length I can pull it back in and temp it into the furnace when I get ready to transfer it all over. But I was having issues cutting this. You have to remove the plastic. This here is just going to be the end piece, just for pressure testing, and then all this comes off. I went ahead and took the black plastic off the whole thing. But what we're supposed to do is count 3 ribs, cut back, and then cut the plastic off of there and expose this much, right? And then you put your compression ring on that first one there, and then shove it in there, and then the cap will compress it. So we'll see how it works out, because I'm having issues with the cutters. Now this one here, I had to take the wheel off, grind all these areas down. And if you look at the other cutter I was using, it wasn't allowing me to cut all the way through because of these corners right here. So, you know, it's great if you keep it straight there, but it just felt like I wasn't cutting, like they were just hitting the edge and just wasn't cutting properly. So I went ahead and took one of my other ones, other tubing cutters, grounded it down so it had more surface area on the top, because it seemed like with these ridges, the wheel has to sit down inside there, and you can see how tall the ridge is, and then you see how tall I have left right there. So by the time the wheel actually penetrates all the way through, it's hitting the top here. So I said, all right, went ahead and ground it down and just cut it up this way, across that way, and back down on both sides. Use this one here, worked much better. I still have an issue of it not cutting all the way through. When you get about, you know, 1/8 of an inch, almost a quarter in some areas, it just doesn't want to cut all the way through. And it's supposed to be cut perfectly, so that way it'll have a good seal when it bends in. So if you have a little flat spot in there because you had to break it off, it might not work. So we'll see. That's why we're doing the pressure test. So we're going to go up there, put all these pieces on, and turn off the gas. I'm going to hook up the stove to part of the pressure test, because it's just right there ready to go. And then I'll cap that one. I'll put a plug inside. There's a T up there that went to the fireplace and to the stove. I'll just put a T in that one there, and that T, put a plug in the key and turn the gas back on. My wife won't be able to cook tonight, so I probably should get with her, find out if she needs to cook anything, because that's the only thing in the kitchen that's really gas. The ovens are electric, and then of course the microwave. All right, guys, we're back. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to find the gas leak. You know, not a gas leak, but we're doing a testing right now. We had it at 30, walked away for about 10 minutes to see what's going on. We have the main line here that goes to the meter outside, and also where it splits off down there to the water heater. We have that all isolated, and I'm just trying to find out what's what. This line here is not connected to anything. I just got that ready to go inside the furnace closet down here. I'm not the furnace closet, water heater closet. This one here goes to the stove. So we have the valve off down at the stove, and it should hold pressure. Right now we're kind of holding at 27.5. It was at 30. I just went through and tightened all these guys a little bit more. We had a leak at the furnace one. This guy right here. That one was doing good, but I went ahead and tightened them all down a little bit more too. And Matthew's gone down there to check to see if there's any bubbles. And, you know, got to make sure we go through all this before we hook up the gas. Just takes time. When we were putting all this together, we had a slight leak in the manifold because I just had all the valve systems on here, and we just had a slight leak right here. So I took it all apart and put it back together and let it sit overnight at 30 pounds and had no issues. So even though my stove's turned off, and we still have the oven and microwave, and then you know, if we want to cook something on gas, I have my propane camping stoves that are already set up from when I do canning with the American pressure cooker, all American, which is really nice to have. I have the Presto too. I just don't have a gauge on it. You do that for like small stuff, anyways. But that's where we're at right now. So we're trying to figure out what is leaking, and we got the freeze coming in here real soon. And let's take a walk down here. So this gas line right here is going to be coming out shortly. We've got this here. All this massive stuff went to the furnaces, which were over there that are no longer here. This guy here is just has a valve at the end. But I got to go through and check it too, but not right now because, like I said, this whole setup here is isolated. So everything's from a manifold that goes over into the garage area. And so all this stuff right now is not pressurized. It's shut off at the manifold. And we're just checking half of it first, and then once we get that one cleared, then we'll check the other half. That's why it takes so long, you know. You gotta find out where everything's at and all the leaks, and just, you know, you don't want to just slap stuff together. That's for sure, especially when it comes to gas and electricity and water. Ducting is a lot more forgiving, that's for sure. And that's why I like doing it. Well, later on, after we get it all taken care of, I'll go ahead and label all my T's or my valves and where they go to, what they are. I know this is probably not, some people think, well, that's not necessary and all that, but you know what? It is for me, because I like isolating things off, you know, so I don't have to shut the whole house down. And when you got multiple furnaces and gas lines and everything, especially if you have pilot type water heaters, you know, or anything that you have to light a pilot, and you got to go through and make sure you light all the pilots and stuff. And you do it this way here. If you have an issue, you just, you know, isolate it down and just shut off that one area. You know, it'd be better if there was a room outside, you know, for the gas and water setup, for all the different valves and everything. But it's the way it's going, you know. I have to retrofit everything in this place, make it happen. So we'll see where we're going with it, you know. Just gotta take more time testing it and making sure we have no more leaks. So we're still, oh, wait a minute. What did I do? Oh, that's right, I opened up that line. I opened up the valve to the stove. So I'm gonna go ahead and add more pressure in here, bring it back up to 30 and let it sit for another 10 minutes and see what's going on. And I'll go check my other fittings down that way. I have this one here to just check, tighten it up, and then I'll just go down and try to hit some more. See if I can get a little more, just a little more out of it. All right, well, we went ahead and I was able to snug down these nuts just a little bit more throughout the whole system on this side. And we went downstairs and waited 10 minutes and the needle didn't move. So now we're going to go ahead. We went ahead and I should say we went ahead and opened this side up here, which gives access now to oh, not access, we're going to be pressurizing the system back there. I'm going to wait another 10 minutes to see if the needle moves, because we're at 30 right on the nut. And then it's a matter of hurry up and wait, you know. So we'll go ahead and see what happens. At least we're getting some ground here covered. All right. All right, kind of little happy smiles here, you know. We have the first part that we isolated on the gas line. Well, it stayed at 30. And then the second part, we had a couple of small little tiny leaks, you know. Again, I need to find a way to cut this stuff better. One of them at the end that's going to the water heater closet, just had to take it off and recut it. There's a little tiny split, though, just enough to create some good bubbles when we're doing the bubble test too, along with the pressure test. So, right now we're at 30, and we'll see where we're at tomorrow morning. Hopefully we're still at 30. If not, then I gotta isolate the system again and see where we're leaking and start working on other things while it's sitting for a good period of time. But there's only 2 areas we can go, you know. We got the main connection coming in, where it tees off for the water heater, and then from the manifold this way. We'll see what happens, all right? In the meantime, you guys have a good night. Take care. God bless.